Next, we have a very special thing. Randall, would you come up? We have our first annual Hero of the Liberty Award. This has not been done before. It's something that we've been talking about within our group, and we decided that what we need to do is we need to recognize elected officials and heroes around the state of California. So today, Randall is going to introduce a very special person to us, and he's going to talk about, for just a minute, about our Hero of Liberty Award. Randall.
Thank you, Woody. You guys are lucky here in Fresno. Those of you that live here in Fresno, you've got an amazing sheriff. We have a good sheriff with Ian Parkinson, a good sheriff, and we can talk to Ian, and Ian understands, but she gets it. She gets it. She knows what's going on with this state. I won't say most. Some sheriffs don't, and you guys are so lucky. So, without further ado, I'm going to read a few things. And my glasses work fine, Woody, I can see.
I'll clean mine.
We must not allow the actions of a few cowards who are bent on evil to promote any laws that will infringe upon the constitutional liberties of responsible citizens who have broken no laws. This is a letter that the sheriff sent to Vice President Joe Biden at the time. This is in 2013. This was a very strong letter, and she pretty much spells it out and said, don't come to my county thinking you're going to take our guns. It ain't going to happen. Sheriff Mims is in her 4th term starting this year. She is formally opposed to the California Sanctuary State Law, SB 54. She has personally met with our president, President Trump. Here's one that I really like. She was personally scolded by Governor Brown in a call, which she flipped and publicly embarrassed him by releasing his voicemail to the public. She's continuing to fight against taking public lands for frogs and toads, and she's a defender of our property rights. She's a champion of the Second Amendment and joined with other sheriffs in refusing to enforce Obama's illegal gun executive order. She's leading a leading voice against the effects of AB 109 and Prop 47, which is the early release, where now anything short of murder, you're released on your own recognizance. So, yeah. And she continues to fight back against legislation which would make it harder for law enforcement to protect the community and themselves. So our sheriff, she has been a police officer, a peace officer, since 1980. She is the first female elected to the office of sheriff in the history of Fresno County, which was established in 1856. So I would like to introduce, but first I want to give the award so y'all can see it. This is our first annual Hero of Liberty, and it goes to Sheriff Margaret Mims.
Thank you so much. It just seems to fly in the face of reality that I'm recognized for doing the right thing. You know, when my office got the call from the White House, and my assistant took the call, of course, and said, the call was, I'm so-and-so from the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs of the White House, we'd like the sheriff. in a meeting with the president next week. And as you can imagine, my office gets a lot of strange calls. And my assistant says, sure, could you send me an email to confirm who you are, your phone numbers and all? And it was accurate, it was true, and what an awesome thing it was to be able to sit and meet directly with our president in the cabinet room of the West Wing and talk about the damages that the sanctuary state is doing to our public safety. He mentioned I've been a peace officer since 1980. That's almost 39 years. 39 years of my life dedicated to trying to keep people safe. Amen. And these new laws that are taking effect does just the opposite. It certainly doesn't make my job any easier. And I swore an oath to fight against those enemies, foreign and domestic. And I think I need to continue that fight, because after 39 years, I'm not going to give up on it now. Recently, Fresno County had a meeting. It's required as a result of the Truth Act. There was the Trust Act, the Truth Act, and the Values Act. And it was all about protecting criminals from being held accountable. And I spoke up very strongly about my opposition. I have to comply with California state law. I must comply with the law. However, I don't have to agree with it, and I can speak up against it, and I did. There was one speaker that these are pro-open border groups, and her argument against me and what was happening was because I shook hands with Jeff Sessions and I met with President Trump. So no matter what I did or no matter what I said, nothing else mattered. What they forget is I also met President Obama and shook his hand and spoke to him. But it doesn't matter. It truly does not matter. If you're not in lockstep with what they believe, you are nothing. So I'm really proud of this. I appreciate it. I am humbled, and my promise to you is I'm going to keep fighting the good fight. And when I know there are people in this room that are supportive, and I truly hear so much more positive than negative. Did you see the protesters out front? Yeah, we've got protesters out front. Yeah, abolish ICE. Yes, it's their protesters. There's about 15 of them out there. But I appreciate your support. I think this is an awesome recognition. And again, I'll continue to do the right thing. Thank you.
All right.
Can we all get in? Yeah, I want to get in. Wait.
Randall.
Okay, who else? Who else wants it?
2, 3.
Sheriff, thank you for doing a wonderful job. We appreciate your